Hi, hello, and welcome to another ASMR Reiki TV movie review. I'm Deandra Reviews. Check out deandrareviewsitall.com, where I review entertainment for the light it gives. And today's review is on Ted Lasso Season 3 that I've gotten a few screeners, so I am a little bit ahead. But I am starting to feel that one of the central themes of Ted Lasso this season is what is the point of positivity if you don't actually win? Because we so often, especially with a character like Ted Lasso, define positivity as a buffer to negativity, as a barrier to losses, making us feel like a loser. But what about positivity as a winner? Can positivity lead us to victory? And that's one of the biggest questions of Ted Lasso season 3. You know, I'm infusing you right now with Sodalite. We're going to do some plucking and some scraping with my Sacred Heart winged scraper. Do some cord cutting. Sodalite is a really good crystal for anybody who's looking for a calm push towards their dreams. It is a very powerful, it's usually used by people who are traveling a lot because it's all about ambition and movement and kind of feeling like you can grace your way to the top. Especially people who, have a lot inside them that they want to do, but they don't know where to go, how to do it. They don't feel right quite yet. Sodalite is really good for just beginning a gentle step, a gentle first step into your new journey. And Ted Lasso is definitely going through a new journey. One thing that I felt with Ted is that from the beginning of the season, there is this slight exhaustion to him. He's going through a divorce that he hated, never wanted, and he feels like he lost it because he made this giant move. But he's also realizing that it was a long time coming. And part of why this divorce happened is that there's a numbness to Ted Lasso that we've all ignored, but in season 2 kind of got brought out, especially through therapy, that he's blurred the lines between being somebody who is positive and knows how to respond well to loss to somebody who is numb in terms of showing that they want more, actually letting themselves want more and going for it. He didn't want a divorce, but he does want a relationship. And yet there's something about him that cowers to actually attaining one. He doesn't want to keep on losing these championships. Yet there's something about him that cowers into going for them full force, into investing into victory full force. And I find that absolutely fascinating because part of why people poop on positivity is because they think it's just, they base it oddly on negativity. It's just a buffer to being negative. It's just a barrier to feeling too bad. It's just something we do to keep going. But this is about positivity as something that rises you. This is about positivity as something that elevates you to what you want, not something that is simply what you use to respond to what you don't want. And I thought that was really not just fascinating, but frustrating. I'm frustrated with Ted Lasso this season, the character, and in a good way. I want him to win, and it's like he doesn't want to. Or he does, but he doesn't go for it. He hasn't fully grieved the loss of Nathan, who was his assistant and now is his public bully. And he doesn't face him, and we could laugh and admire him for knowing how to take a joke or positively handle a bully. But there's also a feeling of, if you don't fully walk away from how badly people treat you, if you start seeing yourself as the loser they are very publicly making you out to be, then are you really positive? Or are you just quietly crying? Are you quietly sinking and just have learned how to look like you're still standing even in quicksand? And I think that's the big reveal of Ted Lasso season 3. I kind of hope it isn't the last season, not only because I love this show, but I feel there's at least one or two more seasons of his story. Because this is a very character based show. And I feel like this season's plot, as it progresses, there's a feeling of Ted is finally growing up. And I don't think in 10 episodes he can fully grow. He needs a little more shaking. Because as the season progresses, he's going through some internal tower moments. Tower moments, if you've ever done tarot, those are, whenever you get the tower, it's like a really weird card because it means changes, and it means changes that are abrupt and quick and kind of like, well, I guess tomorrow I won't be the same person, those kind of changes. And obviously they can be great changes, they can be positive changes, but something about suddenness of change, even makes us feel bad. Something about just being forced to grow up or get out or resolve an issue you never even asked for can really crush us. And for Ted, I think he's finally realizing, especially with Rebecca's ex and Nathan, really throwing gauntlets at them and saying, we want to destroy you. And if we destroy you, it's the end of Richmond, right? I think this season he's finally realizing, oh, I came to win, huh? I didn't come to fix a team or make them more united. I came to make them champions. And you do that by fixing them. You do that by uniting them, but you also do that by winning. And he keeps on losing, and it's so frustrating, but also brilliant, because so often with sports shows, and I'm going to do a movie review on air, which I absolutely adored. So often on like sports shows and sports movies, we base it on the winning team. We base it, and even if they're like the losing team, by the end they become winners. And I hope that for Ted Lasso. I hope that for Richmond, and I think they will have the potential to do that. But seeing the payoff be so delayed is really intriguing, because it makes us frustrated with Ted. And it makes us realize that his kindness doesn't necessarily mean he's perfect. People do need to get upset sometimes. They do need to cry and be sad. There's nothing wrong with being angry. It's about always being angry. That's where it's wrong. Or not knowing how to move on from the anger. Ted's problem is that he doesn't know how to step into it. He doesn't know how to feel sad without trying to run away with positivity. And it's so interesting to see his character oddly feel negative. Feel like someone who's just not as bright. And I'm not even saying it intelligent, spiritually. He's still innocent, he's still goofy and sweet and trying to do the best for others. But if you don't heal yourself, if you don't feel better with yourself, you're doing a performance. And I think this is the first season, especially with the upcoming episodes, where I realized there is a performativeness to Ted, to his love. There is a neediness and a people-pleasing to him that is negative, that is dark, that is bad, because he isn't real with himself. He isn't real with others. And in turn, he doesn't progress anybody, including himself, upward. And you really want that for him, because it's rare to see somebody so sweet. But it's also draining to see somebody never stand up for themselves, never actually get up and win. And the whole point of being positive is to use that positivity, use that light to win. You have to win. You have to win. But it's not about escaping your losses. It's about gaining your victories. Positivity is fuel to victory. Positivity is about, even if they sink me, I hold my hand high enough to pull myself out and make a run for that finish line. Ted needs to get to that finish line with a trophy. And it's really, I'm kind of nervous with these upcoming episodes. I'm like, Ted, are you actually going to win? Because like there was this feeling of like the first season he lost. I was like, the second season he lost. And I was like, well, I mean, and now he's still losing. And you're like kind of, So are we never going to win? Like, is this a story about losing gracefully? We will see, Ted. It's really interesting to see how Jason Sudeikis kind of brought in his own life. Going to do some sweeping into this season. You know, he's going through a very public divorce. He's being oddly villainized